What is up, everybody, and welcome to another special episode of the Orange and Black Insider, part of SB Nation's Cincy Jungle and the Believe Podcast Network. I am Anthony Cosenza, joined by my partner in crime, John Sheeran. John, last week we teased a big guest, and there are few as big as this one, both in terms of star power and sheer size. I'm excited to bring him on. Are you?
I'm very excited. Who do we got, Anthony?
All right, well, it is Mr. Trent Brown of the Cincinnati Bengals and Super Bowl champion, Pro Bowl player. Stoked to be having him join us this week as we kick off our Super Bowl coverage. He is joining us because of, number one, to talk about his career, his great career, the Cincinnati Bengals, and some cool things he is doing with the Trent Brown Ranch. And, sir, how are you? Good to be joined with you.
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Absolutely. Thanks for the time. First and foremost, I don't know how much you want to divulge, but we hope everything is going okay with the unfortunate injury that you suffered this year. Hopefully that the recovery and the rehab is going well. The team missed you. That was pretty obvious. But I guess I'll just kind of start off with, since we are on the precipice of a Super Bowl with the Chiefs yet again being in the big game. What was, when you arrived to Cincinnati, what was the kind of vibe or, I don't know, outright attitude from your teammates, etc., about the rivalry between the Chiefs and the Bengals? And then that game obviously was so early in the season this year.
I think for me, going against them so many times, both with the Raiders and the Patriots,
right?
I think there's a healthy amount of hate there. But I mean, just all in the love of competition in football. You know what I mean? No real bad blood off the field, but definitely in the name of competition, there's a real healthy amount of hate there. I think during my short time, unfortunately, with the Bengals this past season, I don't think I was really my best self, but I tried to be. And I think I just fell right in line as far as the rivalry, as you put it, against I guess the best team in the NFL.
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll reluctantly label them that. You know, the three years can do that. But yeah, that game being in week 2, because the Bengals and Chiefs had normally played, later in the season, whether it be in the playoffs or in the regular season. Was there like a difference in how the team as a whole kind of prepared for that week, especially after coming off of a loss to the Patriots in week 1?
I definitely think there was a more of attention to detail, more an attitude as far as like how the week 1 performance was unacceptable. Me personally, I know my week 1 performance was terrible. I would pinpoint that as the worst performance in my career. But I think we all felt as though that wasn't how we wanted to start our season off. And then I also believe coming into week 2 and playing as well as we did, it was probably some questionable things that took place, as far as calls go.
Mm-hmm.
But that's easier said than done. That's almost like that shoulda, coulda, woulda stuff. But I mean, it's when you go into somebody's. I mean, I play for the Patriots, so I understand. You know what I mean? They probably felt the same way about us. But when you're going into the number 1 team's stadium on the road, you can't really leave any room for people to make decisions for you. So I think we played well. Do I think we could have played better? Absolutely. again, myself, I'm always gonna be my worst critic, my own worst critic. But I think there was a lot of promise there in that performance and show what we are capable of as a team. And it's really kind of sad that we didn't really get those results throughout the season. And it's also a little bit promising and crazy that we still ended up right there. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So at the end of the season. So I think there's a lot of promise and hope coming into 2025 season.
Talking with star offensive tackle Trent Brown, who's joining us for our Super Bowl coverage, and he's got some cool things going with his ranch, and we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. And we'll also talk a little bit more about your experience with the Patriots. It was funny you brought up the questionable calls thing with the Chiefs because Travis Kelce on this week kind of made that question to other reporters, but I think we all have a similar feeling on the Chiefs, the referees, et cetera, at this point. But I just kind of sticking with the Bengals, and you talked about the slow start, particularly against the Patriots in week one. Then you had that close one against the Chiefs. Was there a sense about what, because you've probably heard the narrative about the Bengals and their slow starts and all of that. This was a particularly slow start for this team that had a lot of star power, yourself included. Was there a sense, obviously, aside from frustration, as to the reason why things were starting so slow this particular year when it seemed like such a promising season at the onset for the Bengals?
I don't think anybody could really tell you why. I mean, nobody expects to start slow when you put so much work in, so much time in. Um, I think sometimes, and it may sound cliche, but sometimes the ball just doesn't roll your way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's about as much as you can say about that.
Yeah, it was interesting kind of like watching how you and Amarius were kind of battling during the offseason, and you dealt with an injury, I believe, at the beginning of training camp, and then Amarius dealt with an injury kind of in the middle of training camp, and then you ended up starting in week one. What do you kind of remember about the dynamic that you two had when you were competing and on the field at the same time? Because obviously injuries got in the way of, either one of you playing, but when you guys were both able to play, like, how was that competition like?
Well, I really didn't look at it as competition. I looked at it as me being a veteran, a older veteran, and he's a young guy. I was in year 10. He's a rookie, so I was just trying to bestow upon him all the wisdom that I have to give. Trying to tell him some things, give him uh, some little tips here and there that he maybe allow him to play a little faster. Maybe it'll be pick up some things faster, see things faster, maybe and allow him to also play faster. And so I wouldn't really see it as competition. I would just say it's all love, and whatever it was going to be, it was going to be. As far as a roster standpoint, I don't really get into all of that competition stuff because at the end of the day, we're teammates, and we're both here to get W's in the left column and not L's in the right. So
That's right. That's right. Well, you did a fantastic job in a mentorship role, because I think we saw the promise there from Mims. I mean, did you get a sense right away? I mean, we all knew the tools were there, but it was a lack of experience and some injuries in college and that sort of thing that kind of gave some people some pause about, where's he going to be at? But the tools were there. Was that pretty noticeable from you right away, from Amarius Mims?
well, I think I mean, for one, he's from South Georgia. Two, he played in the SEC, so that gives him a pretty good head start, I think. Me being a guy that they tried to say didn't have much experience coming out of Florida, and I played at JUCO as well. They tried to say I didn't have much experience. I only had like 12 starts or whatever. But I think if you look at it from that 2015 draft class, I'm like one of three, if that, offensive tackles left still in the
Yeah.
league, and I'm pretty sure, in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people's opinions, that by far I'm the best tackle. The cream rose to the top for sure. So um, I did think that he had all the tools and the attributes to be able to play at a high level in this league, and I think he showed that. And then I think on top of that, he'll continue to progress and have an All Pro career.
It was truly a marvel seeing you, Orlando Brown Jr., and Amarius Mims all on the same team, because 6'8", 350 plus pounds offensive tackles are pretty rare in the NFL, but all three of you were on the same roster. I guess, I mean, just because of how rare that is, what do you kind of attribute to your long career playing at that size with the off-season regimen, or just recovery? Just what do you think was the key for you to kind of last as long as you have in the NFL?
I think God first and foremost, and then God-given ability right after that. And then also the work that I put into it. Like, you can talk to my trainers. I put in countless hours. A lot of times they had to tell me to stop, and be like, "That's enough for the day." So I mean, like, it's definitely the time I put into it, and you know what I mean. A lot of people, I wouldn't even say that that's just all about just the only ingredient to the recipe, but I do, because a lot of people put a lot of time into it and then they don't get the results that they want. But I mean, I think preparation and luck, and perfect timing. I think me being a 7th round draft pick 244 in the 7th round, 2015. A lot of people counted me out. Uh, so it's just, I really had a chip on my shoulder and continue to have that chip on my shoulder, as I call myself the greatest underdog. So I don't really think that the work is all, but I think uh, I just, this, we're kind of in a passing league, and I think me coming in and being able to pass block as well as I did or have over my career, and still able to do so on either side of the offensive line, I think that is has played a major role in my success.
Well, you've had a hell of a career. There's no doubt about that. Super Bowl champion, Pro Bowler, and Bengals, hopefully future Bengals offensive tackle as well going into this season. Trent Brown joining the program courtesy of the Brown Ranch and Foco.com, one of our partners here at SB Nation and the Believe in Cincy podcast channel. Trent, I mean, look, we're talking about the Chiefs now building their own dynasty, especially now potentially doing something that no other team has done if they do win this week. And then, you were part of a dynasty that everybody marvels at, which was the New England Patriots, led by Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. I mean, there's a couple of questions kind of rambling in my mind about your experience with New England, but I guess since the Bengals, though, they've had a lot of, pretty good recent success for the most part. They've been to a couple of Super Bowls, but have not had the postseason success at all as the Patriots. I guess your sense or your interpretation of the Patriot way and what that means, what that meant to you in your time there, what was preached to you in your time there, and hopefully the Bengals can maybe take some lessons from that going forward.
I think it was just a group of guys working together towards the same goal. Not afraid of hard work, not afraid to practice hard, um, and really just doing your job. That's really it. I think over the years you could see that it wasn't always a roster full of the best players, but you had the best quarterback ever to play the game. And I think he was able to do a lot with a little, a lot of times, um, in a lot of different positions as well. I think they had a Hall of Fame defense, you can pretty much say, for a long time.
Yeah.
A lot of continuity and carryover over the years, and I think just a lot of great coaching as well. So I think it's a lot of greatness from top to bottom, um, and just a lot of hard work, a lot of hard work, and a lot of people doing their job, and a lot of people not afraid to put the time in either. So I think that's just that. I don't think it's anything special, but other than a lot of people, a group of guys working towards a common goal. Um, it's funny because Edelman just made a post yesterday about that 2018-2019 Super Bowl. Nobody would have ever thought we were going to win the Super Bowl, but how we all rallied together, especially how the season started, how we all rallied together. And I think as we got closer and closer, and as we got near, everybody started to feel like, wait, we can do this. You know what I mean? And like, I think we all kind of went into overdrive, and I think that was the most fun part about it. But just being counted out pretty much, and then showing up at the end which some people may say is the most boring Super Bowl ever, but we still got a ring. You know what I mean? That's all that matters to us. We don't give a
That's
damn
all that
about the
matters.
score as long as we
I'm
got more than the other team at the end.
I'm very glad that you brought up that, because I was going to ask you what your thoughts about that game were, because obviously from a viewer standpoint, it's completely different than being a player. So like when you guys won that game and how you won it, like what was kind of going through your mind about like the flow of the game without a lot of points being scored?
Well, we knew it was two good defenses going against one another, and we had two good offenses going against one another. But I really feel as though we kind of that was the plan all along going in, because Coach Belichick had been telling us we're better conditioned, and we knew that's what it would come down to. Like we ran heels that whole season almost after practice, and it really came down to that. We wore them out, we wore them down, and then in that second half, you see we started getting bigger gains in the run game. We started getting chunk plays in the pass game, and once the dam broke, it was what was end up being 13. What was the final score?
It was like 13-6 or something like
13
that.
to 6, or
yeah. So I mean, we knew it was gonna come down to that. It's just a juggernaut type of game.
Yeah.
We gave the Rams too much credit. It was 13-3. Only three points for the losing team.
Yeah. There you go. Trent, I hate asking this question, but I know a lot of people, part of me hates asking this question, but I know a lot of people fawn over comparisons and this, that, and the other thing. You spent a lot of time around Tom Brady. You spent this season with Joe Burrow. There's, is Joe Burrow the next Tom Brady? Similarities, that sort of thing. I guess I'll just put that ball in your court and say, what did you see out of the Bengals star quarterback this year, especially since you've been around the GOAT as of this point, Tom Brady?
I think they're both great in their own right, and I think they deserve that respect to be individuals in that way.
Yeah.
I think there are some, like I just told you about the Patriot way. This is guys working towards a common goal, not afraid to put the time in, not afraid to work hard. So I think those individuals aren't afraid to put the work in, work hard, and aren't afraid to do whatever it takes to be great. So I don't really want to compare them. I'll just say that the traits of a winner are there.
Cool.
We'll let you off with that, but I would like an answer here. Who do you think is going to be better at their new job? Bill Belichick coaching North Carolina, or Tom Brady calling Super Bowls in NFL games?
Calling Super Bowls?
Or just like being the Fox, color commentator and analyst?
I don't know. That's a hard one. Because I refuse to believe either one of them just don't want to be great at whatever the hell they choose to do. So that's a hard one. I don't know. I'm on the fence about it, just like I am on the fence about picking the winner of this Super Bowl this Sunday.
Well, we may have to pin you down at the end here. We've got a couple more things to try and to talk to you about. And number one, you have the Brown Ranch, and you've got some cool packages. I want to talk about that in just a second. But just for people that do not know, how did you get into this? I don't want to call it a side hustle. It's obviously a passion project and probably something post-football career, which is, I'm sure, going to be years ahead for you. But I just kind of give us a little background as to how you got into this side of this business, and then we'll talk a little bit about what you've got going for Super Bowl this week.
So I've had a love for livestock and cows and being out in the country, living the country lifestyle my whole life. I would spend my summers with my papa, my mom's dad, in Texas. He always had cows and horses, and that was what I look forward to the most, is going to feed every day, going to ride horses probably about 3 times a week. And he gave me my horse, Mookie, because we were born on the same day. And so it's kind of hard not to be fond of the lifestyle when you grow up around it. And I was always a kid that enjoyed the outdoors. I wasn't a gamer. Just because I hated losing too, and we went through a lot of controllers at my house because of me. I would say just the passion grew from my family, and I always told myself that I'm gonna make it to the NFL one day, and I'm gonna have my own ranch, and my ranch just so happens to be probably 5 minutes up the road from my papa where I spent my summers. And so it's a sentimental value there. And I just want this thing to be to grow and be something that I can leave behind to my kids and their kids, and also teach others that there's other ways of making it outside of bouncing the ball or picking up a microphone. So this is just a bridging the gap and showing the others that there are other avenues to travel to make money or do whatever that it is that they want to do to, I guess, live a lucrative lifestyle.
When I discovered the ranch's Instagram account, it was really awesome seeing kind of ride these horses. You said something in an interview last year, quote, "These horses are pretty much like me in the sense that they know their pattern and they know what they do." Can you kind of take us inside the mind of one of your horses and kind of expand on that?
So I'm not gonna claim to call myself or proclaim to be a horse expert, but I've seen enough of it to know that once you get a good horse and they got a good mind about them, that you just on their back and they're doing the work for you, and it's pretty fun to see. It's a lot of great horses out there, and I mean, if you just go on YouTube and you click in cow horse or reigning cow horse or whatever, these horses are great athletes. I mean, they're stretched out, barely touching the dirt. You know what I mean, and really just getting after a cow. You know what I mean? Like it's really crazy. And I think it's almost like if you see a DB or if you see offensive lineman doing like a wave drill, three cone drill, or whatever, and it's really cool. So if you guys ever get a chance to look up on YouTube, AQHA quarter horses or rain cow horse or whatever, you'd be amazed at how these horses really move. Aside from you just seeing them run full speed in a straight line, hightailing.
Right. Well, we've got a lot of links we'll be putting in our YouTube channel description, as well as some write-ups on cincyjungle.com, part of the SB Nation network. And we'll have the links also in our the podcast links on the Believe in Cincy podcast channel. So you'll want to check that out. And some of them will lead to the Brown Ranch and some of these packages you've got going on for Super Bowl. So you, as you mentioned, you fulfilled a lifelong dream a handful of years ago and purchased the Brown Ranch just outside of Austin. And you've got some meat cuts and packages. I guess you're collaborating with Ratcliffe Premium Meats. There's a prime rib family package and a chicken package. And my understanding is that these can still be shipped out to folks in time for Super Bowl if they want to cook some high quality meat.
Absolutely. Farm to table is the way to go. As you guys can see, there's a crisis with our grocery stores here in America that is taking place over the last couple of years, but it's really a lot of different items have come about, popping up as having different diseases or whatever. And so the best way to go, and you'll save a lot of money if you go farm to table, get with your local butcher, your local farmer, or whatever. We ship nationally and abroad as well. So whatever you guys need, we got it. Beef, chicken, pork, we can get our hands on it.
Awesome. I think this picture, some of your representatives sent us this. I think this is the picture that we're showing is the prime rib package or some form of it, which looks.
And this was our Christmas package here. The Super Bowl package includes a brisket.
Ooh, okay, like that.
I
like that. Yeah, I know. I gotta go get something to eat now. I'm drooling, but this has been a real pleasure having you on, Trent. I really appreciate the time and the openness. You know, we're greedy. We were hoping for we were hoping to get like 10 minutes out of you, and we got somehow about close to 25. We appreciate the time, man. I know it's a busy week for you. I know you got a lot of things going on. Hopefully we see you in Cincinnati next year. I know you got to do what's best for you, but we enjoyed watching you play last year. It was unfortunate what happened to you, but we wish you the best ahead. And like I said, hopefully we see you in Cincinnati again next year.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me on once again.
All right. Take care.
All right. You too.
Thanks, Trent.